Here's my stage video for stage 2 of the December 9th TDSA Christmas Carbine match. And unfortunately, this is going to be a dumpster fire. This is really the stage where it became readily apparent that my ladder sights do not have the same windage zero as my battle sight. Throughout this entire time, I spend about a minute and a half on this one prone firing position, trying to hit relatively large targets with my leaf sight, with the ladder sight. And unfortunately, these targets are backed by dirt that is in such shadow that it's virtually impossible for anyone to call where my splash is. And unfortunately, I tilt. I can't see where my bullets are landing. I know my zero appears to be off. I can't hear any corrections from anyone because no one can see any impacts to provide corrections with. So I burn a whole bunch of ammo on this. In retrospect, I should have flipped down to the battle sight and tried to use that. But in the moment, I'm on my 200-yard sight. I'm thinking I shouldn't have to hold that high. I'm working through rim jam to the point where I'm looking at maybe if I use this, I should just do the unidirectional thing to where we should load stripper clips such that I have an up and a down, even though you're not supposed to have to do that. With 303 British surplus, you can do the standard staggered thing, but it seems like even with PPU, it would be best to go ahead and load everything unidirectional. At this point, I've gotten frustrated enough. I realize I can't hit the steel and I can't get coached on, so you know what? Hit all the paper, hit the spinner, and hopefully the big bullet of 303 on the spinner will mess that up something wrong. So here I flip down to the battle sight, and I think I flipped down to the battle sight. It's hard to tell. But there's just some paper, and that's easy enough to send big old lumps of coal at. And then, turns out my zero is good enough for the spinner. Although I should have hit the bottom, because as you can tell, I cycled such that I would hit every other presentation. And unfortunately, I do par out with a total of 7 misses. That's 4 steel from the first position, the tunnels, and then 3 steel from the car. Here's all the targets that I was supposed to hit.
Shooter ready. Stand by.
With modern guns and a gun that I can actually zero, sights that I can zero, and no zero shift between magnified and unmagnified, guess what? I can actually hit what I am aiming at, even relatively small targets. Here, I don't know why I stood there. What I should have done is knock the magnifier off, take a nice walking lead, and engage those targets as I walked. This one also, those two, at least the top one, I should have engaged on the move. And then here, there are 3 itty-bitty targets out on the left. I'd be surprised if you could see them on the video. They are, as it works out, about 4 MOA at this distance, but they are tough to see against that mottled tire background. Also, I haven't put this rifle precisely on paper at 100. So, it takes a little bit of effort. Load on the way up, knock the magnifier out of the way to engage the paper, knock it back in place in order to engage this spinner. I could have done it without the magnifier, but it makes it better. And again, there seems to be something to this self-loading thing. I do miss a few more times than I really should have, and I think that's a product of, in this case it was the product of me misjudging exactly where the ideal presentation would end up. I was aiming to the right. But thankfully, I do actually clear this and prove that yes, I do actually know how to shoot. It's just that my Enfield disagreed with me. And I performed significantly better with modern equipment than I did previously. The tell here is, once again, I basically finished the entire stage with modern equipment before my ancient equipment had even left the first position. And that just speaks to how much of a struggle bus this was. I am glad I paid for the second run so that I could redeem myself on this stage in particular. The Enfield obviously will need more work. I need to put it on paper. I need to figure out exactly what the zero shift is. I might need to see if I can find the proper zeroing tool for the Enfield so that I can choose to zero the windage for the leaf sight, or for the ladder sight, as opposed to be stuck with whatever windage shift is going on there. But these are things that you can only really learn by printing on paper and by having the occasional dumpster fire at competition. Thankfully, the rest of the squad was understanding of my tilting and did their best to help. I was frustrated that it was so damn hard for people to spot splash, but that obviously wasn't their fault. I had difficulty spotting for other people's splash when they were shooting. So here we will watch my modern run complete, and you see I'm still trying to hit that first target through the pipes. So speed it all up, it's a dumpster fire, and we'll see that hopefully the next stage is better. Spoiler alert, yeah, it's all uphill from here.